Have you ever noticed that one person in your life, someone who seems to effortlessly attract anyone they want? It's not their looks, their wealth, or even their personality they've mastered. Something far more powerful, the unconscious triggers of human desire. In a restricted CIA document from 1963, these psychological patterns were considered so dangerous they were classified as covert influence techniques. What you're about to discover are 7 of these hidden triggers, the same ones behind every deep attraction you've ever felt. In fact, I guarantee you've already fallen for at least 3 of them without realizing it. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll not only recognize these psychological triggers, you'll understand how to use them to create irresistible attraction in anyone you desire. Number, the scarcity effect. 1. The scarcity effect. Let's start with the most powerful psychological trigger of attraction: scarcity. When something becomes rare, it becomes more valuable. Let me give you a real example. James, one of my clients, was constantly available to this girl he liked. He texted back immediately, always free whenever she called, basically revolving his life around her. Result: she lost interest within weeks after applying the scarcity principle, maintaining a busy life, taking 2 to 3 hours to reply and being available only at specific times. Suddenly she was the one chasing him. Here's what most people don't understand. Scarcity isn't about playing hard to get. It's about being hard to get because your time actually has value. A fascinating study from Harvard showed that people are 3 times more likely to pursue someone when they're uncertain about that person's interest. Here's exactly how to apply this. Create what I call selective availability. When you're with someone, be fully present, deeply engaged, but maintain clear boundaries with your time. For example, if they text you during work hours, wait until your break to respond. If they want to meet, have specific days you're available. This creates a powerful psychological pattern. They experience intense connection when they're with you, followed by periods of missing that connection. The key is calibration. Too available, you become predictable. Too scarce, you break the connection. The sweet spot is being scarce enough to create desire, but available enough to maintain connection. Just like fine wine, its value comes not just from being rare, but from being worth the wait. Number 2, foot in the door technique. Door technique. The second psychological trigger is something the FBI has been using in interrogations for decades: the foot in the door technique. Let me show you how powerful this is. In a recent social experiment, researchers ask people 2 questions. First, how's your day? After getting a response, they asked for $100. Obviously most refused, but when they first asked for $1, then gradually increased the amount over several interactions, compliance shot up by 400%. Here's how this transforms into seduction. Instead of asking her out immediately, you start with small, seemingly innocent requests. Take Alex's success story. He used this principle on a girl he thought was way out of his league. First day, just asking to borrow her notes in class. Next time, getting her opinion on a project, then asking for her help with a quick study question. Each yes created what psychologists call a compliance momentum. 2 weeks later, when he suggested coffee, it felt like the most natural thing in the world to her. But here's the crucial part: most people miss timing and escalation. Each request should be slightly bigger than the last, but not obvious enough to trigger resistance. Think of it like temperature. If you increase it 1 degree at a time, nobody notices the change, but jump from cold to hot instantly, people pull away. The key is making each step feel like a natural progression, not a technique. When done right, she feels like she's making all the choices while actually following a carefully crafted psychological pathway. Number 3, the power of mystery. Mystery, the third psychological trigger, taps into one of the most powerful human drives. Curiosity. Let me share a remarkable study. Researchers found that uncertainty creates more brain activity than both positive and negative certainty combined. In other words, a mysterious person literally occupies more mental real estate than someone who's an open book. Let me give you a real example. Michael, a typically average-looking guy, became the most intriguing person in his social circle by mastering this principle. Instead of sharing everything about his weekend, he dropped subtle H about an interesting project or a unique hobby. When asked directly, he'd smile and say, "That's a story for another time." This created what psychologists call an information gap, a mental itch that needs to be scratched. Here's how to apply this. Never reveal everything at once. If you're a musician, don't say "I play guitar." Instead, mention you performed somewhere interesting last weekend. When they ask where, maintain that slight mystery. Let's save that story for when we have more time. This isn't about being fake, it's about understanding that human attraction deepens with gradual revelation. Think of it like a movie trailer. It shows just enough to make you want more, but never the whole story. The key is to always leave them wondering what else there is to discover about you. Because once someone starts investing mental energy in thinking about you, you've already created the foundation. 4. The push-pull dynamic. Attraction number 4. The push-pull dynamic. This fourth trigger is the most sophisticated psychological pattern in attraction. The push-pull dynamic. Imagine a cat chasing a string. Move it too far away, the cat loses interest. Keep it too close, there's no chase. This perfectly illustrates the psychology of attraction I'm about to share. Let me give you a real case study. David was constantly texting this girl he liked, always available, always trying to make plans. Classic push with no pull. After learning this technique, he completely transformed his approach. At a party, he'd give her intense attention for 15 minutes, push, then excuse himself to chat with others. Pull. When texting, he'd be deeply engaged in conversation. Push, then naturally busy for a few hours. Pull. Within weeks, she went from showing zero interest to constantly wondering where he was. Here's the precise formula. When you push, create moments of genuine connection and validation. Maybe compliment something specific about her personality or show deep interest in her passions. Then pull back slightly, not by being cold but by showing independence. For example, in a conversation after a deep discussion, lighten the mood with, "Anyway, I should join my friends," or "That's enough about me, I want to." Maintain some mystery. But here's the crucial part. Most people miss timing. Push too long, she gets comfortable. Pull too long, she loses interest. The key is to create a rhythm that feels natural, not manipulative. Think of it like a dance. You step forward with genuine interest, then back with comfortable independence, always keeping her in that sweet spot of uncertainty and attraction. Number 5. The desire triangle. The desire triangle. Let me reveal one of the most counterintuitive principles in attraction psychology. People want what other people want, but here's the fascinating part. A Harvard study found that attraction increases by up to 300% when interest is implied rather than obvious. Let me share a powerful example. Tom, an average-looking guy, transformed his dating life using this principle. Instead of directly showing he was single and available, he strategically positioned himself on Instagram photos with female friends at events, comments from women on his posts, even casual mentions of a friend he was meeting for coffee. Suddenly the same girls who ignored him started sliding into his DMs. Why? He created what psychologists call pre-selection triggers, subtle signs that other women found him valuable. Here's exactly how to implement this. First, build genuine friendships with women. This isn't about fake social proof. When you're out with female friends, take natural photos for social media. When talking to a girl, you're Interested in casually mention plans. With other female friends, the key word is casual. Saying I'm having coffee with Sarah later is powerful but explicitly mentioning my friend who's a girl kills the effect. But here's the crucial calibration point: never explicitly try to make her jealous, that's amateur. Instead, simply let her discover that you live a socially rich life that includes other women. It's the difference between desperate showing value and naturally having value. Number 6, making them feel unique. Unique, the sixth psychological trigger, exploits a fundamental human desire. Everyone wants to feel special, but here's what's fascinating: a Stanford study showed that people remember only 20% of what you tell them, but 100% of how you make them feel. Let me share a recent case. Mark was struggling with a girl he really liked. She was getting dozens of DMs daily, guys constantly buying her drinks at bars. His breakthrough came when he stopped trying to compete on compliments and instead used what I call unique spotlight psychology. Instead of saying you're beautiful like every other guy, he noticed and commented on specific things about her personality. When she mentioned loving rainy days, he remembered and texted her during the next storm. This made me think of you. Not many people appreciate these moments. Here's the exact technique. First, become an expert observer. When she shares something, listen for details others would miss. Maybe she mentions loving a specific book, later reference a particular scene or quote. If she shares a childhood memory, connect it to something current in her life. This creates what psychologists call deep validation, the feeling that you truly see her, not just her appearance. But here's the critical part: your observations must be genuine and specific. Generic comments like "you're different from other girls" trigger resistance. Instead, demonstrate her uniqueness through precise observation. When she expresses an opinion, respond to the thinking behind it rather than just agreeing or mirroring and matching. Disagreeing. Number 7, mirroring and matching. This final trigger is the most powerful yet least known psychological principle of attraction. Recent neuroscience research discovered that when two people are strongly attracted to each other, their brain wave patterns actually synchronize. This is where the technique of mirroring comes in, but not the basic copying of body language that most dating coaches talk about. Let me share something fascinating. Alex was a natural at this without realizing it. During dates, he would subtly match his breathing rhythm to the girl's, unconsciously adjust his speaking pace to mirror hers. In one particular case, he noticed his date spoke softly and thoughtfully instead of maintaining his usual IC style. He matched her calm demeanor. The result, she later told him, she'd never felt so deeply understood by anyone on a first date. Here's how to master this. Start with voice tonality. If she speaks softly, gradually lower your volume. If she's expressive, allow yourself to be more animated. But here's the advanced part: mirror her emotional state, not just her actions. When she's excited about something, match that energy. When she's contemplative, shift into that same mood. This creates what psychologists call deep rapport, a subconscious feeling of "this person gets me." The key mistake to avoid: don't mirror immediately or obviously delay it by a few seconds, and never copy exact gestures. Think of it like a dance partner who complements your moves rather than copying them. When done correctly, mirroring creates such a powerful unconscious bond that she'll feel an inexplicable sense of connection to you. Now that you understand these conclusion and final insights, 7 powerful psychological triggers, you might be seeing your past interactions in a completely different light. But remember, with great power comes great responsibility. These aren't tricks or manipulation tactics, they're tools for creating genuine connections and attraction. Let's be clear: what makes These principles so effective is that they work with human nature, not against it, from the scarcity effect to deep mirroring. Each trigger taps into fundamental psychological needs we all share. When used ethically, they can transform not just your dating life but your understanding of human connection itself. If you found this video valuable, hit that subscribe button and notification bell, because next week I'm going to reveal the psychological patterns that tell you if someone is attracted to you before they even know it themselves. These are the same subtle signs that FBI behavior analysts used to read people. Drop a comment below sharing which of these 7 triggers you're going to try first. Trust me, once you start applying these principles, you'll never look at attraction the same way again.